Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Final Score. Today we're going to be talking NFL Week 17. There's a lot of action going on around the league with a lot of playoff implications. We're coming off of a nice Giants victory.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be talking about that and the other action from around the league, what we think that's going to mean for the playoffs. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So let's start off talking about the Giants coming off a tight 23-19 victory against the Cowboys. Obviously, a game that had big implications for the NFC East, and now it all comes down to the football team Eagles game tonight.
Definitely going to be rooting hard for the Eagles.
Yeah, we all are. So what do you guys think is going to be the outcome of this game if you had to predict right now?
I think Alex Smith is going to lead the football team to the victory just because it's too good of a comeback story.
Alex Smith and Ron Rivera, and with a loaded defense.
Got weapons with Terry McLaurin and J.D. McKissick and Gibson if he's healthy, I think.
My unbiased opinion would probably be Jalen Hurts carrying fast. No, I think Alex Smith will fairly easily beat the Eagles.
I don't think
Fairly
it's
easily.
gonna
I don't know about fairly.
I think it's going to be a tight game.
I don't.
I thought you've been saying you think Jalen Hurts is going to be...
That's out of optimism.
Yeah, that's true.
That's fair.
I
That was
think
my-
it'll
that's
be
my
a close
bias.
game. Definitely breaking out the Rocky music, breaking out the Philly cheesesteaks, breaking out dreams and nightmares because it is Philly tonight.
Hardcore.
That being said, I think the storylines are too good, and I have a feeling Washington's going to win.
It's also a good story. Obviously not as good for Alex Smith, but for Jalen Hurts to take over just 2 or 3 weeks ago and have a chance to just play spoiler, I mean, that's also a good storyline.
He's going to be fighting for his job for next year, too. He wants to make a lasting impression on this team and gain that starting quarterback job for next year for Philly. And there were some rumors today out about Carson Wentz probably being traded in the offseason, too. So Hurts is going to be playing motivated, definitely, and they want to play spoilers. So, I mean, we're all going to be rooting hard for the Eagles in that 8-20 game.
But what do you guys think regardless of if it's Giants or football teams, do you guys think either of those teams can make noise in the playoffs?
I think that the football team could make more noise than the Giants could, just because their front seven with Chase Young is unbelievable. But I also think that the Giants could upset the Buccaneers.
Definitely, because
We hung in there with them in the regular season.
we bring it against Brady. But I agree. I think that Washington's defense is going to be a problem for whatever team they face.
Definitely. That front seven's loaded. They have a few playmakers on offense. And, you know, with Alex Smith running the offense, he's a guy that's not going to turn the ball over. So between the defense and Alex Smith keeping them in there, you know, they'll stay in games. They're not going to be an easy out. And the Giants, it's going to completely depend on what Giants team shows up, right? If you asked us right after the Seahawks game, we would have thought there'd be a real problem for anyone.
But, I mean, even today, our defense looked really good. We have McKinney, who just came back off of injury, hasn't really played much this season, and had a game-saving interception. And Danny looked great today, too. I've kind of been concerned about that because of his hamstring injury. But he came and he was running out of the pocket today, throwing well, and that interception wasn't even on him. So if Danny can show up and this defense does what they've been doing all season, I think the Giants can make some noise.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if you asked us after the Seahawks game, I'm fairly certain we were convinced the Giants were going all the
To the
way.
Super Bowl, yeah.
But I think realistic expectations are for whatever reason the Giants show up for Tom Brady. And if we face Tom Brady, I think even if the football team faces Tom Brady, there's a good chance the Buccaneers go down first round.
Yeah, the Buccaneers do look vulnerable. They're not going to be an easy out, obviously.
They lost by like 30 to the
And
Saints.
did Mike Evans, is his injury serious, or did he
I
end
think
It
up
looks
so.
getting
serious.
back?
It looks serious.
Because that's definitely a hit for them. Obviously, Antonio Godwin showed out today, but that's definitely a huge hit for them.
Did you mean Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin?
Yeah, Antonio and Godwin, that's what I said.
I thought you said Antonio Godwin. I was like, who is
Antonio
that
Nah, he
guy?
said Antonio and Godwin. But yeah, so there's a few other games going on right now that have major implications for the NFC playoff race. And the two games would be the Packers versus the Bears and the Rams Cardinals. Both those games going on right now. What are the scores in those?
Cardinals are up 7-5 on the Rams, who just got a safety, and then the Packers are up 14-10 on the Bears in the red zone.
All right, so here's the scenario. The Packers have clinched the playoffs, obviously. If they win, they lock up the 1 seed. Now, if they lose and Seattle and New Orleans both wins, then New Orleans will gain the 1 seed.
Seattle has to win too.
Yes.
Now, what if the Saints and the Packers lose and the Seahawks win? Do they get the 1 seed?
I think whoever who has it secured right now, right?
Yeah. The Saints would get the 1 seed.
Okay.
Because the Packers have a tiebreaker over the Saints. So
Out of those teams,
Yeah.
who do you guys think is more dangerous, the Packers or the Saints?
Packers. I think that the Saints are going to be more reliant on their defense, and they do have a good defense. But if I'm going to bank in the playoffs, I would rather have the quarterback that I trust the most and the
Rodgers.
offense that I trust the most. And they have enough playmakers on the defensive side of the ball.
But their defense is very vulnerable.
It is, but they've also shown that they can step up at times. Look at what they did against the Titans last week and Derrick Henry. They contained him for the majority of that game. And, they have guys like Jair Alexander in the
He's
secondary.
He's a lockdown.
Lockdown corner. Then they have some decent guys up front like Kenny Clark, and they've got who's the other rusher they have that's really Zadarius Smith.
I will say though, they just lost their All-Pro left tackle, which is a
Bakhtiari.
huge hit for them
It is.
because now defenses are going to be abusing the left side with Rodgers.
And Packers currently they're in a tight game with the Bears. They're up 14-10 Packers right now. They're
Yeah.
also in the red zone. So the Bears, if they win this game, or if the Cardinals lose, the Bears are in the playoffs.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
good story for Trubisky. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been in the league 4 years. Is this his 4th year?
I think so because I
So
feel
that
like it's
would-
his contract.
This would be his 2nd year in the playoffs then.
Yeah, but his first year was different because I feel like was it his first or second year he came out really well.
I think it was his 2nd year he started filling up the stats.
And then so what year is this then? For him?
4.
4?
Yeah.
Because there was
He's
one
saying-
year where Trubisky started looking like people were like, okay, this kid might be really good, and then I think it was last year, was
Last
it?
year-
Actually,
he was
this
terrible.
isn't this his 3rd year because he wasn't he in the same
No,
draft
there's
class as
definitely
Mahomes?
Yeah, he is. Mahomes
Yeah,
and Watson.
this-
Mahomes
Mahomes-
is his Mahomes' 4th year
No,
because
it was,
he didn't play his first year.
Yeah.
but then he won MVP his 2nd year and then won. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right,
yeah,
so this is 4th year for both of them.
Trubisky it's Watson, Trubisky, and Mahomes were all the same draft class.
Yep.
Trubisky is
Deshaun
on the
Kaiser.
up, which is good because I mean, okay, Deshaun Kaiser, we throw him in the mix. But I think Trubisky, it's good because he was somebody who a lot of people wrote off, and now we're seeing him start making a comeback, and he's playing really
They
well.
even benched him for a period
Yeah,
of
Nick
time.
Foles came in, and I thought their season was over because they were, I think, 5-6 or 5-7 at one point.
Yeah, he's
And-
came in and
They were also,
played
what,
really
4-0
well.
in 5
Yeah, but then they lost like 5 or 6 straight, so it's a good comeback story. Trubisky leading them. Montgomery has looked a lot better, and
Oh,
their
he's looked
defense is great.
I'm rooting for him, but I think if he doesn't show much of what they need, then I think Chicago's going to be probably looking for a new quarterback.
Okay, here's the thing about Chicago though. Where are they gonna go? With who are they gonna get? Not only
Right, they're not
obviously you can get somebody who's better, but Chicago notoriously their best quarterback in the past like 25 years has been Jay Cutler.
No, but what I'm saying is, I mean, they'll have options if Cam is indeed leaving the Patriots. I don't think they'll trade for this guy, but Wentz as a possible trade option. So if Trubisky really just looks like he's not going to lead us anywhere, then you look at those
Okay,
options.
is Cam really better than Trubisky at this stage? I love Cam, but right now
That's
is he,
a good point. That's a
Yeah,
good point.
I don't think he gets you anywhere else.
Then I mean, depending on where their draft pick is,
Somebody who I'd be intrigued by, and he hasn't been used as much this year, Jameis Winston. I still feel like he's overdue for something.
Well, he got that.
Yeah, the eye surgery.
The eye surgery. So he's
Yeah,
going to be
like,
going
oh,
for like
he's-
40 touchdowns.
I actually agree. I think Jameis could find a spot, competing for a starting spot at least.
Yeah.
I don't know that the Bears is the
They-
offense for him because he seems like he would be best in a pass heavy attack. But it'll be interesting to see what the Bears do with quarterback. So obviously they need to win or have the Cardinals lose to get in. And that Cardinals-Rams game is another one that's going on right now.
There's another guy who I could see going there is Gardner.
Oh, Minshew. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can see that.
Where do you guys think, though, Anthony was talking about that Cardinals-Rams game, if either of those teams got in, assuming quarterback health, which team are you more scared of?
So really quick, just to let everyone know the scenarios for what happens for who gets in. The Rams, if they win, they're in. or if Chicago loses, they're in.
Even if they lose, they're in.
Yep. The Bears, we already talked about. They need to win or have Arizona lose. Now Arizona needs to win and also have the Bears lose.
And that's 7-5 right now. Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah, 7-5. Cardinals got the
Weird
ball.
score.
Yeah, a battle of the backup
Backups.
quarterbacks as Kyler started but was taken out early, and
Now, so
Goff's not playing either.
me personally, for who's more dangerous, I think the Cardinals have a lower floor.
The Gardeners.
I think the Cardinals have a lower floor, but they also have a higher ceiling. I think because their offense is more explosive. Even though
I disagree.
I just don't think Goff and I'm not a fan of Goff.
I think that if Goff is on his game, like we have seen him be before, like if he's in the moment with their passing attack, I don't know, he's kind of hard to stop.
get
And they've such an elite defense.
Playoffs are different, right? Last year, let's think about some of the recent quarterbacks who have made the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Foles. To be a playoff quarterback, you don't necessarily always have to be elite. You know what I'm saying?
If you have enough of a team
Drew
around you.
Brees could get there. He's not elite this year by
Yeah.
any means.
No, I
So
agree.
what I'm saying is the Rams team is so good around them. Cam Akers has looked a lot better, and Henderson's really solid. And their defense is elite. I'm definitely more scared of the Rams. Their only issue is if they get down early, they have trouble getting back.
I
But
agree.
if they're ahead, I think they can beat anybody in the NFC and almost anybody in the league if they're playing at the same level.
I don't know. I just think that Kyler is really hard to stop.
He's
I don't
Mind you, he's better than Lamar.
I will say,
Just throwing that in there.
I've lately, I
convo
feel
for
like,
another time.
yeah.
I will say though, with the Cardinals, Cliff Kingsbury is, in my opinion, not a good coach. And if he's going to be
What
thrown
makes
in,
you say that?
inexperienced, some of the play calls he's made has just been terrible, in my opinion. I'm just really not a fan. I know a lot of the movement right now is young coaches, going imitating McVay, because McVay, if he gets to the playoffs now, he's had a lot of experience in his young career, and I think that gives an edge
You
to
know
the
who's a
Rams.
candidate? Matt Patricia.
Yeah, get out of here, Matt Patricia.
So I would take the Rams over the Cardinals also. I agree with Dylan. I think the Rams are a team that could be sneaky in the NFC playoff race. They're also a team that can lose on any given
Yeah.
day and get bounced early. But if because Goff is so inconsistent. But when Goff is on and their defense is obviously going to be playing at an elite level on all levels of their defense, pass rush, run stopping, pass coverage, all of that is very good for the Rams. They have weapons on offense with Kupp, Woods, Akers, Higbee, and Sean McVay is still one of the best coaches in this league. And
Yeah.
I would trust a Sean McVay led team a lot more than I would trust a Kingsbury led team.
They're
to a
at
point.
least not going to get blown out.
I'm definitely-
That's certain.
I'm
They're
definitely
going to be
taking
in
the
the game.
Rams.
If on the other conference, who would the Steelers be playing? Because
I don't
I got to
know.
be honest,
Maybe the
especially with a
Browns?
banged up Ben Roethlisberger, I think Steelers get knocked first round. I think it's
still
which is weird considering they're at 11-0, but they've fallen off so
don't know.
much.
I still think that the Cardinals have a higher ceiling than the Rams.
Why?
I just think that if Kyler gets rolling, if he's playing the best he can, they've already beaten the Seahawks and the Bills this year. I think that if Kyler's rolling, and they have a few playmakers on defense, they have Buda Baker, they have some other playmakers.
It's pretty much just Buda Baker and
Still,
Mike
I mean,
Peterson.
I think that
Is Chandler Jones still
if
there?
Kyler Murray is rolling, he can get past Jared Goff, I think.
It's not a quarterback battle though. It's a team battle. It's
Yeah.
Kyler Murray versus the Rams.
But
I mean,
if Kyler
Rams-
Murray can get rolling, they can score so many points.
Some of the teams Rams have beat this year, they beat the Bears, the Dolphins, the Seahawks, the Bucks. They did beat the Cardinals too, 38-28. I'm definitely I see what you mean because that's such an explosive offense with Kyler and D-Hop. Kenny Drake's also been playing well.
They also lost a huge game last week to the Seahawks.
You know
Yeah.
who's a more
But I'm
explosive
still
offense?
taking
Not
the
that they're in the
Rams.
same conference, but Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo looks
Yeah.
great.
Hang on,
think they-
I want to
Yes.
keep talking about this Rams Cardinals because this is a good discussion here. But I think, to Dylan's point, playoff football is different from regular season.
Same
and
way
I think,
NBA is different.
right,
You know,
in the postseason, you see defensive coordinators and you see teams really lock in on what a team wants to do. And for Arizona, they seem like a really one-sided offense. I guess you could say two-sided. What's going to happen is You're going to throw the ball to D-Hop, or Kyler's going to run it himself. And I think they
That's
don't.
not true.
For the
most
For the
part,
most
part.
yeah.
When
Christian
the-
Kirk gets a lot of receptions.
when the Cardinals
as well.
are at their most effective,
I don't think Christian
that's what's
Kirk-
happening.
It's like a Stephen A. thing where he's like, matchup nightmare, Christian
Right.
Kirk. Like I don't
I'm just
feel
saying. I mean,
Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say the Rams are a team that is built to succeed in the playoffs
Absolutely.
because they're a very well-rounded team.
Yeah.
That really their main problem is, can Jared Goff be consistent?
And Goff
And
isn't bad. Like he doesn't make a lot of mistakes in the
Right.
sense of like he's going to cost you the game. He just won't necessarily win.
And they
you
have
the
some
game.
of the best defensive players in the league. Like, I do understand, Cardinals are explosive, but I think when you look at Rams defense and how good Rams offense can be, because keep in mind they've put up 40 points before.
Right.
This is a team that I'm definitely more scared of than an inexperienced coaching staff, inexperienced roster,
And
young
think
team.
Think
I
about
just
it
don't
like
like their
this:
odds.
DeAndre Hopkins. We've talked about Devontae versus DeAndre. DeAndre is my personal favorite wide receiver in the NFL, but Ramsey has looked incredible this year. Now Ramsey's
Right.
covering him. Ramsey's covering him, and then they have
But
their
we're
other
also not
defense.
just talking about
Donald
if those
rushing
teams
Yeah,
at
we're not talking
playing
about
each
if
other.
they're facing. I think we're just talking
Well, I'm
about
also
talking
talking
about-
Donald rushing at Kyler. I'm saying
We're not talking about if they're facing though. We're talking about who you're more
we're
scared of in the
saying who we're more
playoffs.
scared of in the playoffs.
Not if they
Well,
win.
I'd be
Okay.
more scared of the Rams because
Yeah.
the Rams
Yeah,
are a much
still.
more complete team. The Cardinals' defense is susceptible, and I feel like, Kyler Murray has been incredible, and I think the Cardinals, with a few more pieces, will be right up there with some of the best in the NFC next year. But I think there's too many holes on their roster right now.
Their
And-
roster-
And this is a
They're-
team, like I said, that's
yeah.
experienced in the playoffs. Rams have
The
been there. they've been
Cardinals'
to Super Bowl.
recipe right
Cardinals
now-
haven't.
The
Like I
Cardinals'
said, though-
recipe right now is just hope Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins can make something happen, and that's not a recipe for playoff
Like I said though, I
success.
did say
Agreed.
ceiling though. Like I think that the Rams' floor is higher, but I think if the Cardinals are playing at their best, they're
So you're betting on that ceiling,
I
though.
disagree.
no.
I think Rams have a higher ceiling.
The Rams,
oddly.
I
the
disagree.
Rams ceiling to me,
Is
they could make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I
They-
don't
I
see a world where
Cardinals-
the Cardinals make the Super Bowl.
I don't see a world where the Rams make the Super Bowl personally.
I disagree with that strong of a defense and that good of
Yeah.
a receiving core, coaching staff, the experience.
Goff
Jared
isn't
Goff.
bad. Goff
I-
is
I'm
an
not saying-
average quarterback, which can believe. It sounds weird
It's a-
because we talk so much about quarterbacks and how valuable they are. An average quarterback can win you the Super Bowl. Nick
Yeah.
Foles is the example of that. Jimmy
Think Goff's
Garoppolo
better.
almost won it last year if it weren't for Patrick Mahomes being the best in the game.
So let's we want to talk about AFC too, but let's wrap up with the NFC. First, let's say our predictions for who's going to be in. So right now, Packers are up on the Bears 21-10. I think the Packers are going
Yeah.
to win this game,
Yeah.
no problem.
I'm kind of rooting for the Bears, but I think the Packers will.
Yeah. And then the Cardinals-Rams game, it'll be interesting. There's two backup quarterbacks. I would lean towards McVay and the Rams to come out of that game.
Especially no Kyler. If Kyler was playing, I'd lean towards the Cardinals.
If
but
he's
Bears
not,
yeah.
lose, are Cardinals and Rams both in?
Um,
Or what happens there?
Let me
I
see.
think.
Or
Well,
do,
I
no.
actually-
or do Cardinals have to win to get in?
Cardinals need to win or they're not.
Yeah, so I
Do
think
the
the
Rams need
Bears
to win?
stay in.
No. The Rams,
Because they're in with a Bears
if
loss.
the
even
Rams
they I
lose,
think.
then they need the Bears to lose also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which I think is going to happen. I think Green Bay is not going to have any problem
So
eliminating the Bears.
if Green Bay beats the Bears, can the Cardinals get in?
No,
if they
the Cardinals
win.
have to win, right?
If they win, they get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Cardinals are going to win.
So you
I
think
don't
Cardinals
without
beat the
Kyler.
Rams and Cardinals get in?
I do.
Okay, so
I'm
my
gonna s-
prediction is Bears and Rams get in.
I'm going to say Cardinals beat the Rams, but Packers beat the Bears.
By the time
and
this
Rams are still
podcast
in.
is out, we will
Yeah.
know.
So the Cardinals are also in though.
I think, I lost my train of thought, but I was just thinking of the what are the other matchup games that happened this week? The Dolphins got beat bad by.
Yeah,
the
that was
Bills.
a tough showing for Tua with everything on the line.
Yeah,
And he didn't get to show up.
let's wrap up the NFC with our NFC predictions. If you had to make your call right now on who's gonna come out, I'd say who would you pick to come out of the NFC, and who would you say is your dark horse team?
Here's
to
my
make the
issue.
NFC?
I would pick the Packers, right? I am worried about losing their left tackle.
I agree.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a team, I'm still gonna pick the Packers. However, my dark horse team
Yeah,
is the Rams.
agreed. I'm between Packers and Saints, and it is really tough. Favorites are the Giants. I mean, there's no question there. But no, I'm probably gonna take the Packers, and I'm gonna have the dark horse be the Rams.
How do we feel about the Buccaneers?
So do you guys think that
Not my dark horse.
do you
Not
guys think
favorites.
that the Rams have a better chance of making it than the Seahawks?
Yes. Seahawks have too many holes, and
I disagree with
Wilson
that.
hasn't
Yeah.
looked as good as of late.
I don't
It's
know.
tight.
I disagree.
It's a tight
Seahawks
one.
are all on Russ. So Russ shows up and plays at the level that we know he's capable of, then I'll take the Seahawks. But if Russ is just
They also
playing,
have a lot of playmakers on defense.
I just
though.
don't feel like this is the
But there's still
Seahawks
not a
year.
good
It's
defense.
just so much has gone wrong for them in the second half of the season. It just doesn't feel like they have momentum going into the playoffs. I don't think it's their year. A
Agreed.
lot of teams in the NFC really don't
They
have
just beat the
momentum.
Rams.
This is playoffs. It's an entirely different
Yeah,
game.
but that was also that.
I'm
was
just
the thing.
saying, I don't think a lot of teams have momentum. I think if the Packers can hold up without their left tackle, they should make it.
Yeah. I'm going to agree. The Packers would be my pick. As far as the Seahawks versus the Rams, the Seahawks are a tough team to predict. I think the Seahawks might have the highest range of outcomes of anyone in the
Yeah.
NFC because it wouldn't really surprise me if the Seahawks went on a run to the Super Bowl
I also
because
would be-
of the high-flying offense and they do have a few playmakers on defense, so if they could tie it together, it's possible, but
I'd bet
I would
on the
trust
more
the
rounded
Rams. Yeah, same. In the playoffs, I'm gonna go with the coaching staff that I trust and the well-rounded team. So I would probably say the Rams.
So
I
what
would
about you,
choose over
Jaden?
the
What's
Seahawks.
your
I'm gonna
dark
say
horse?
Packers, and I'm gonna say Seahawks because I mean they've won. Russ is an experience in the Super Bowl. He's won one. He's been there twice, won once, and I just think I'll take the top 3 quarterback in the league.
All right, so why don't we go over to the AFC now? Because we got a consensus that the Packers will come out of the NFC, even though we do think it's going to be close.
I feel like it won't be the Packers, but that's the obvious pick. That's just
I
yeah.
actually agree with that.
I still
So,
think it will be.
looking at the AFC, 2 teams that clinched a playoff berth as wild cards is the Ravens and the Browns. Are you scared of either of those teams?
You see, the Ravens.
I'm more scared of the Ravens.
The Ravens.
The Ravens have such a good defense.
The Ravens' defense is awesome, and the offense has been playing really well. Now, the
Still have
counterpoint
wides.
to how the offense is played is you look at their opponents. They
Oh my
faced the
God.
Bengals twice. They faced the Cowboys, the Jaguars, and the Giants. Like, the Ravens, I would have to see them go out against one of the better defense. Oh, they did do it against the Browns. The Browns' defense has been really good.
It's
Browns
fun.
secondary isn't that good.
I'm just not the biggest believer in Lamar.
I agree.
That being said, the rest of their team is good enough.
It's no secret.
I'd be
that
more
I'm
scared of the Ravens than I would be of the Browns. I'll put it that way.
It's no secret that I'm a huge Lamar fan, and Lamar said, I think after he won MVP, he was like, it don't mean anything, or like he's still waiting for the chip.
He won't get it.
And
I agree.
yeah, he's not getting it this year, that's for sure. He doesn't have enough around him on the offensive side, I think, to get it done. And Harbaugh doesn't always make the right calls to me. But I do think I'm still going to take the Ravens, if I had to, over the Browns, just because
Oh, I agree.
I'm not a huge fan of that team.
Yeah.
Even
I-
though Baker's looked good.
I'm just not a
So
fan.
we're
I
talk-
just don't trust Lamar in the playoffs.
Are we talking about the wild cards right now, or are we talking
Talking
about?
about Browns and Ravens.
Okay, then I guess the team I think is. Well, I wasn't sure because I had a different point to bring up, which is like about the Chiefs. But
Yeah, we'll get to
yeah.
that.
Out of those 2 teams, by far, it's the Ravens. I think they're more explosive. Lamar, he's had his ups and downs this year, but you can't deny the talent Lamar has.
Oh no.
And I know the Browns' rushing game is great. Their front 7 is great. I still think the Ravens are a more complete team.
Yeah.
And if Lamar can play well passing, I think they can still beat almost anybody.
It
Not
does
to say
worry
they
me-
will,
it
but
does
they have
worry
the
me
ability to.
Just because Lamar is one of the few quarterbacks who hasn't thrown over 300 once this year. And obviously, he makes up with that with his legs. But in the playoffs, if you're playing Lamar, what are you looking to do? You're looking to take him out in the run and force him to throw. So I think that's going to be an issue for them.
Yeah, because I
agreed.
mean,
And if they,
it's not like he's choosing to only run. He does have some problems when it comes to accuracy. So I think if they can do their best to focus on the run game, you can slow that offense down a bit.
yeah, I think we saw it in the Steelers game earlier this season. We saw it in the Chiefs game. The biggest thing with the Ravens is kind of similar to the Rams. Knock them out early, get them trailing, and then they're going to have a hard time making a comeback. But if you let them get an early lead with that defense and that running offense, you're going to have a hard time. So the Ravens are definitely a dangerous team. Let's look at the wild card situation there in the AFC. So the Bills destroyed the Dolphins today, 56-26.
Josh Allen's absurd.
So with that game, the Titans were locked into the playoffs, and now the Dolphins could still get in if the Colts lose. Now the Colts are facing the Jaguars. They're currently up 20-7 at about halftime. So
Sounds like the Dolphins are out.
yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
the Colts are going to have any problems with the Jaguars. So it sounds like the AFC playoff picture is going to be set, and it's going to be
That's rough.
Kansas
for the
City
Dolphins.
number 1.
Yeah, it is.
Buffalo number 2, Steelers number 3, Titans 4, Ravens 5, and then the 6 and 7. I don't know which order, but it'll be Colts and Browns.
I know this is kind of a hot take. How are we feeling about Tua?
I'm just.
It's too early to.
It
It's
is
too early to make an assumption on him.
It
It's-
just.
I don't know if
stinks
he has
that
the it.
he has
That's
that. He had the opportunity, and
Even Hurts has shown more of an it.
yeah, that's true.
I don't
He
know
went
if
out
he
there
has
and beat
it.
a really good
Yeah.
team, and then he didn't even make it a close game. I mean, they scored 13 points and lost by
It's concerning.
50.
I don't want to make a judgment on Tua. He hasn't looked great, but he also hasn't looked bad. He's looked good enough at times.
Fitzpatrick just looked better. And
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick
Yeah.
has looked better, yeah, but there's not a ton there for Tua to work with, especially as a young quarterback. I don't know. I would not be willing to
No,
make a
No, you
judgment.
never want to write off a guy, especially after his first year, even though they did with Josh Rosen. But regardless, I think Tua, it is concerning. I don't think we've seen any really impressive flashes to that extent. We did in college, but since the injury, I don't know. I would be concerned about Tua heading in this out. Now
But
next
it
year he
is
can
also-
prove us all
It is
wrong.
also his first year.
I know. So you can't write him off. What I'm
It's
saying though is there concern? Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Look at Josh Allen too, though. In Josh Allen's rookie season, there wasn't a whole lot of flashes for him.
That's fair.
Now last season, Josh Allen was his second year. You started to see flashes.
That was just his second year.
Yeah. This is his third year,
Man.
and now he's
Yeah.
top 5 quarterback. He's got the Bills playing awesome, but rookie season, he had real struggles with accuracy. He was still a good runner. He's always been a good runner, but he had a lot of struggles with accuracy, and they really wondered if he'd be able to consistently throw the ball down the field. And they put some more weapons around him. They go out, get him Stephon Diggs. Just get comfortable to the league. So I think it's too early to make a judgment on Tua, and for me at least, I wouldn't be willing to write him off yet.
I'm still concerned. I'm definitely not writing him off because he has looked pretty good. I mean, I haven't really seen a ton of flashes, to be honest, from him.
Yeah.
Like I have from Hurts, who also, like Tua, has pretty much not a lot to work with.
Right.
I think Tua actually has more to work with than Hurts. But I'm definitely not writing him off because it's his first year, and that is the problem with the NFL right now is if you don't go out there and put in instant production, a lot of teams are impatient.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
But
true.
especially a team like the Dolphins, who are contenders with how good their
Have a
defense is.
great defense, and I mean they have a good backfield.
Well, Flores is an incredible coach.
Yeah.
So on that note, what's our pick for the AFC? I guess.
Chiefs.
Yeah,
Chiefs.
if we're all picking, we got to.
So
pick the
this is
Chiefs.
my point. The Chiefs are susceptible,
Oh yeah, they're
which
not.
every team is. I don't feel like there's a clear cut. The Chiefs are clearly the best. Can they lose though? We saw that with the Raiders, and
I think they can lose.
I think
they-
all these wild card teams are really strong, and they could all upset them.
Yeah,
I think it would be really tough. They would have to play their best football.
Yeah,
And
but
even,
it can be
and
done.
Even, and even then.
In the playoffs, it can be done.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it can be done. I mean, you look at the teams that it could be in.
Andy
or
Reid
in
is a great
you
coach,
have
too.
Titans.
Yeah,
the Colts,
absolutely.
the Ravens.
No, I mean the Chiefs
those
are
are
my
teams
pick
that
to
I
win
think-
it all, and they should win it all. But that's not to
So-
say they're
Yeah, I agree.
bulletproof.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So let's do the same thing with the dark horse like we did in the NFC. Who do you guys think, other than the Chiefs, have the best out? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So the question becomes, who's the best? Who's got the best shot to
Yeah,
beat the
yep.
Chiefs? And it's tough. It's really tough. Like all these teams
Steelers have no shot. Let me just say that.
are good.
Yeah,
Steelers look broken right now.
All right, I'll
they
say-
can't run the ball. They can't. Ben Roethlisberger's banged up.
Juju's still doing his dances.
Is he?
Juju's still doing his dance.
I
He
think
danced after the game.
so. My opinion, Chiefs win. But if there's two other teams I'm looking at, it's the Bills.
I agree.
And my dark horse wild card team, I think the Colts are good, but not good enough to make the Super Bowl. But they're
Agreed.
good enough to do an upset.
Yeah.
I think the Titans still have the talent and potential to
Agreed.
get there. They're out of the wild card teams, they're the only one I think has the potential to get to the Super Bowl on a run. The Colts don't have the potential, in my opinion.
I'd agree with that. I think the Colts are another team. They could easily come in and win a game
Same with
first
the
round,
Ravens.
no problem.
Yeah.
But quarterback play is gonna limit them. Like in the playoffs, you need, quarterback play isn't everything, but you still need to be able to put up points against some of the best, especially when you're facing the Chiefs. Defense against the Chiefs, we saw the Niners had the best defense in the NFL last year, and Mahomes still tore them up.
I think the Bills are dangerous because they can compete with the Chiefs on offense.
My
They're one of the only teams that can do that.
Agreed.
And their defense isn't bad either. They could beat the Chiefs, too.
I say Chiefs because it's the most possible outcome, but I think there's a very real possibility. The Bills, there's something about the Bills this year that I really like, and I think they're going to go out there and play out of their mind.
Which is weird because their rushing attack isn't that good.
But the Bills, I could also see losing first round to a team like the Ravens or the Colts.
Yeah.
I think there's
I
AFC.
don't think they can lose to the Ravens.
AFC is going to be interesting because it could just be chalk.
No,
but it could be chaos too.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs were to lose, do you see them losing before the Super Bowl or in the Super Bowl to the Packers?
If they get to the Super Bowl, I don't see them losing. I think they'd lose before it.
NFC isn't as strong as the AFC.
I think they'll probably win the first round, and I think they would lose in the the AFC Championship. That's when I could see them getting knocked off.
I have most likely whoever comes out of the AFC to win it, in my opinion.
You think so?
I think the AFC is way stronger than the NFC.
It'll be interesting. I think the AFC is definitely stronger and deeper.
Like
now, if you saw a team like the Bills come out of the AFC,
and they got to play the Giants in the Super Bowl.
No, the thing is, I think the two strongest teams right now in the NFL who I'd pick to win are the Chiefs and the Bills.
Yeah.
So that's why AFC is a level up on the NFC.
Yeah. It'll be very interesting for sure to watch what unfolds in the AFC. So I guess, are we all in agreement that the Bills and the Titans, because I would pick the Titans too as my other team in the AFC that would be most likely to come out.
I do like the Colts a lot. I think they're a great
so
team. They're just
hard
not
for
good
me.
enough to make the Super Bowl in my opinion.
I just don't think Phillip can bring them there.
I don't think so either.
But they're a good team. They can do an upset.
But now the Titans with their
Tannehill.
defense. Now their defense has struggled at times this year, but they have the personnel and the coaching that if they can tighten things up, like look at the Chiefs last year, right? Their defense struggled all season, but Spagnuolo got them going at the right time, and their defense made big plays when it mattered in the postseason. And if the Titans can do something similar with Derrick Henry, Tannehill, A.J. Brown, they got pieces on offense.
A.J. Brown's been great.
Yeah, he's an elite wide receiver now. So Tennessee and Buffalo are the two other teams. Pittsburgh looks broken. I'm not the biggest believer in Lamar. The Colts don't have good enough quarterback play, and the Browns, I just don't think can do it.
I really, really, really want to say Baltimore because I love Lamar, but I definitely think Titans are the better play because Derrick Henry has somehow as a running back the ability to put his team on the back, which is extremely rare. Tannehill's great. A.J. Brown.
Is Derrick Henry MVP?
I wish Henry was more of an MVP candidate, but I don't. Who's going to get
it's
it?
Rodgers.
Mahomes or
I
Rodgers?
think it's Rodgers.
It'll probably be Rodgers.
You have to.
I really wish Henry would get it though.
I mean, you have to do 150 game with 2 touchdowns to get it. It's so hard.
That's what he does like every other game.
I'm just saying that's how hard it is to be a non-quarterback and win MVP.
Yeah.
It's nearly impossible.
Well, how's he looking today with rushing? Because he
really good. He has like 130 and 2
He has
touchdowns.
how much more does he need for a?
He has 110 and a
he
touch
needs-
already?
Yeah, he needs I think 120 in
More?
the second half to get a.
I mean,
2,000
it's
yard
possible, unlikely, but still, the fact that he's this close already proves the type
I
of
almost
company
think he
he's
should
in.
get it. I do, but
He needs
They won't
120
give it
more.
to him.
That's not easy.
Also,
no, I'm saying I think he should almost get MVP.
oh yeah,
yeah, he should be in the conversation, I think. But
Rodgers has looked incredible.
Rodgers has been fantastic.
Yeah, he's 10
this
right now.
season.
He's 10 for 10 for 155 and 3 touchdowns at half.
That's insane.
And if you take for MVP, normally it just goes by who had the best season. But if you're going by the most valuable player, take each player off their team for the main contenders, right? You take Rodgers off his team,
You're not
take
good.
Mahomes off his team, and take Derrick Henry off his team.
Not good.
You could probably
Not
argue
that they're not good, but they're not nowhere near to
right.
the level.
You
they're
could
at.
argue that the Titans would be better off without Henry than the Packers would be without Rodgers.
okay.
Or
Yeah.
I know Mahomes without the Chiefs, they would be a lot worse.
Well, yeah.
yeah,
I'm
But
just
I
saying
think
this way.
Andy Reid as your coach, you'll still get places.
and
That's true.
with Tyreek Hill, Travis
Yeah.
Kelce,
Yeah.
Like there's
They definitely wouldn't be.
the Chiefs would still be
14-1.
a decent team.
They wouldn't be
Now the
14-1.
Packers, on the other hand,
No.
the Packers would be bottom.
Yeah.
tier.
So
They
just
got
out of,
Devontae and Aaron Jones though.
Just out
That's
of
without a
curiosity.
quarterback, they don't do you much good.
Yeah.
is there anyone who's gonna say that they think a team other than the Chiefs, like, will anyone make the Chiefs not their pick to come out of the AFC?
No.
No.
No,
Not that it- not that it's impossible.
I just
obvious
don't like. I don't like betting against Patrick
Agreed,
Mahomes, Andy Reid,
agreed.
Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce.
Patrick Mahomes. People keep trying to say he's not the best player in the NFL or the
I
best
know,
quarterback,
yeah.
and he is so clearly the
Right.
best.
They
Right.
try to say he's overhyped.
It's weird.
Well-
I've never he's clearly looking
hate
like
on
a
greatness.
potential. He's looking like he'll be a LeBron, Michael Jordan caliber. I know that's basketball, but he looks like that level of elite.
It's why, like, LeBron's
LeBron's hated.
notoriously hated. People hate greatness. That's why when I step on the court, I'm immediately hated.
No, to your point, Dylan, about comparing him to LeBron. Also, you said early in the season you made a point that Mahomes is kind of following the LeBron footsteps of almost coasting during the regular season.
Yeah.
Which is funny considering that they're 15-1.
Yeah, I don't even think
But
he's played as hard
he's-
as he needs to.
He hasn't.
Yeah.
No, and we've seen in games where they need to, the Chiefs have another level they can kick it up to at any given moment.
Even last year
Mahomes-
when
We
they
saw-
played against the Texans when they were down 24 to
Exactly.
Up
That's
24.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
Remember Mahomes?
He's insane.
He
Exactly.
said he didn't know the playbook until halfway his first full season,
Yeah.
which is crazy because he was still playing out of his mind.
Yeah, so I mean, the Chiefs right now, they're obviously the clear favorite for everyone. They're going to be our picks. If who would be your number 2 pick to win the Super Bowl? For me, I'm still going to go with the Packers.
I'll go with Buffalo, and then 3 is Packers.
Yeah, I'll go with Dylan. Buffalo, then Packers.
Jaden.
Packers, then Buffalo,
So we all
But it can
we
be-
all
What
agree.
about the
and then 4
Saints.
Seahawks.
What about the
no.
Saints? No one's
I
big
think
on them.
Breeze is
I
too
don't.
old.
I think they're going to be
I don't
limited.
I
Kamara
agree.
can do what he.
I just
done.
wondering playing devil's.
I love Drew Brees,
Yeah.
and I would love to see it happen. I
He
just
can't throw the ball past his nose.
Well,
let's not bash Drew Brees. This is not what this is for.
I
If
love
you ever
Drew.
want to get on the pod, you have
He
He
I
didn't
love
say
Drew.
that.
I love Drew, but
So unless you guys have anything else, that'll probably wrap it up. We have an exciting playoff slate going to be coming up.
Let's go Philly tonight. I can't believe
Gonna
I'm
be
saying
rooting
that because
hard for
I
Philly.
don't like Philly
If-
teams, but let's go Philly
If
tonight.
Philly
I'm gonna be
does
a fan.
win, maybe we can hop on for a little quick reaction like we did when the Giants beat the Seahawks.
Doubtful, but
Let's go, baby.
Well, either way, we're excited to see what's going to come in the playoffs. It's definitely going to be interesting, and we'll be rooting hard for Philly tonight. So thank you guys for tuning in. This has been
The final score.